Though the siren's song was overcome with wisdom, a far greater trial, foretold by the prophet Tiresias, now lies ahead. The fleet sails into the most harrowing dilemma of the Odyssey, where intellect alone cannot save them. The wooden ships arrive at a narrow, treacherous passage between twin peaks. Here, absolute terror waits in the shadows, and Odysseus knows that any hesitation will mean total destruction. On one cliff lurks Scylla, a monster with 6 heads. She acts as an inescapable toll collector, snatching and devouring sailors who dare to pass beneath her. Beneath the opposite cliff lies Charybdis, a colossal vortex. This whirlpool violently swallows and regurgitates the sea, guaranteeing the total annihilation of any ship caught in its grip. The passage is brutally narrow. There is no middle path, creating an impossible scenario where a perfect victory is out of reach and sacrifice is mandated by nature itself. Circe offered a cold mathematical law: avoid Charybdis at all costs. She commanded Odysseus to steer towards Scylla, where the sacrifice of a few is the only way to save the many. This is the heaviest burden of leadership. Odysseus must accept a cruel calculation, where a specific few must die so the rest of the fleet can survive, standing alone with his grief. Knowing that the truth would paralyze his men with fear, Odysseus chooses absolute silence. He locks the gruesome reality away, bearing the weight of this secret in complete solitude. A deafening roar tears through the air as the massive vortex of Charybdis appears. Gripped by primal terror, the crew instinctively drives the ship away, straight toward the opposite wall. Driven by panic, the men pour all their strength into the oars to flee the whirlpool. Tragically, this desperate flight pushes them exactly where Odysseus knew they must go, beneath the cliffs of Scylla. From the shadows above, 6 horrifying heads strike with the speed of lightning. In an instant, before a single cry can be voiced, 6 of the strongest men are ripped from the deck. The tragedy unfolds in a heartbeat. Odysseus is paralyzed by a sense of powerlessness, watching his loyal brothers being torn away into the sky, unable to raise a sword to save them. 6 lives were extinguished so the fleet could continue. It is a ruthless, pragmatic success that feels indistinguishable from defeat, marking the heavy toll that true leadership sometimes demands. The vessel finally breaks through the channel into the open sea. One of the greatest crises of their voyage has been overcome, yet the crushing silence on deck reveals this is a victory far too heavy to celebrate. A profound, suffocating grief blankets the remaining crew as they mourn their lost brothers. The psychological scars deepen as they sail on, accompanied by a lingering dread of what horror awaits them next. The harrowing passage birthed the timeless idiom, between Scylla and Charybdis, capturing the agony of choosing between 2 destructive evils. It remains a definitive metaphor for an impossible dilemma. History continues to dissect this moment, an imperfect but pragmatic decision made by a desperate commander. It remains an enduring ethical question. Is the sacrifice of the few ever justified for the survival of the many? The fleet has survived the jaws of death, giving the men a brief moment to breathe. However, the ghost of Tiresias whispers in Odysseus's mind that their final, most insidious test is already approaching. As the ship continues, the warning echoes with chilling clarity. Do not touch the cattle of the sun god. The island of Thrinacia appears, setting the stage for their final test of absolute discipline. Odysseus has passed the brutal test of Scylla and Charybdis, but the journey continues. Exhausted and traumatized, the crew now sails directly into their ultimate and most fatal temptation,